What's up, Crypto Nation? Welcome to Dapp Central, your home for everything blockchain and crypto. Today, we're getting a brief update surrounding the Paribus protocol. If you haven't heard of Paribus or it's your first time hearing about them today, they're a lending and borrowing platform focusing on NFTs, synthetic assets, LP tokens, as well as RWAs, as the narrative around all those assets begin to heat up with the bull market right around the corner. As a part of today's video, I want to dive into their latest set of updates. I'll leave the official links to their official platform down below. They are supported on Arbitrum as well as on Ethereum with an ongoing conversion into a Cardano native app. Now we're going to be touching on governance, which just went live about a month ago. We're going to be talking about interoperability between two platforms that are currently live on mainnet, as well as the upcoming NFT support, which is just a couple of days away, followed by a closeout surrounding RWAs and LP or liquidity pool tokens set as collateral. Again, if you guys want to find out more about Paribus and their offering, you can head over to the official website, which is available at paribus.io. The official app is available on the mainnet, which I mentioned earlier. As you can see, I've already connected my ETH wallet, which right now is running on the Ethereum mainnet, but they've also launched on Arbitrum, which was actually the first network that they launched on just about a year ago now. Now let's go ahead and jump into the latest article. If you guys are not already following the Paribus team on Medium, they release articles or blogs given the recent giving recent updates, I should say, to the community about the development of the protocol. So this article was released about 6 or 7 days ago. I want to highlight some key pieces again surrounding the development, and then I want to break down when we can expect for NFTs to go live on the platform as collateral. So it states here, with the recent launch of our governance module on the mainnet, many members of our community have had a chance to participate in deciding the future of the platform. If I'm not mistaken, we had a market parameter vote in order to have one of the different markets for Paribus to be updated. We most recently saw a proposal, I should say two proposals actually. Let me jump over to the official governance website to update the optimization of the USDT parameters, as well as the optimization for the wrapped Bitcoin parameters. Again, this is dealing with the supply interest as well as the borrow interest, depending on either markets. And again, you can jump over into the official governance platform in order to review the proposals and put your PBX to work if you have that staked. Jumping back over here, if I scroll down, it states that they're, in addition to working closely with the community, they're going to be aiming to guide how the actual platform grows, right? So it's one thing to allow for whales to come in who hold a lot of PBX and actually vote on things, but it's very critical, right, to make sure that the right proposals are being raised. And so the team will be working hand in hand with the DAO to make sure that appropriate proposals are raised in order to make the platform the best and to provide the most value back over into PBX token holders. Now, they also discuss their interoperability. Again, I mentioned that they initially launched on Arbitrum. They've now launched on ETH, and they're also working on a Cardano native platform. And I believe they're also eyeing Base. So I sat down with Simon and Dennis, both founders and early adopters of the protocol, to talk a little bit about what their future plans are. And they mentioned RWAs, but they also mentioned the Base network, which is developed by the Coinbase platform. If you're not familiar, arguably one of the biggest centralized exchanges with their own blockchain built on top of an EVM model. So reading here, it states, another question that often arises is how we're developing our approach to cross-chain interoperability. Moving on, Simon explains we're exploring multiple solutions, including layer 0, where we want to allow people on Ethereum to borrow from the Arbitrum side and vice versa. This essentially makes it a huge protocol, right? Given the fact that regardless of which side you're coming in on, you could tap into the liquidity on a different side. Again, this makes the experience extremely seamless, and it reduces the need to come in on a particular chain, given the fact that you could come in from ETH and tap into liquidity in Arbitrum and vice versa. Scrolling down, we talk a little bit about their upcoming NFT launch, which will allow for users to use their NFTs as collateral in order to borrow against them. This is a huge piece of the Paribus offering. So here it states, we're also approaching the point where we'll be able to launch our NFT module on the mainnet, And many people in the community were wondering which NFT collections will be supported. I believe there's 3 that have already been confirmed. I'll highlight those here in just a moment. In addition, they're also working on finalizing their support for RWAs, or real world assets. These are assets that people hold in physical form in the real world that they're able to tokenize, bring on chain, and use as collateral as well. Now, not only that, they're also working to bring liquidity provider tokens. So if you've provided liquidity into, for example, something like Uniswap, you receive liquidity provider tokens, which you can then potentially use as collateral on a platform like Paribus. So it continues to read, both of these modules are being scheduled for an audit simultaneously and may even launch alongside one another. So we've got the traditional lending and borrowing markets. We've got support for NFTs just around the corner, and RWAs and LP tokens very close to follow. Scrolling down just a little bit longer, it states that from a business perspective, we've decided to bundle the LP collateral as well with the RWA integration. So we should theoretically see both of those coming out at the same exact time. Closing out here from the real world asset support side of things, we've also finished our integration there where we're currently being tested. So if you haven't already jumped onto the platform to test, I'll leave the link to their testnet down below as well. But it closed out by saying that the team expects for this to be a very big package going over to Hacken very, very soon. If you aren't familiar with Hacken, they performed their first set of audits for the traditional lending and borrowing. So it doesn't surprise me that they're going back to Hacken, but they've also collaborated with other auditors in the past as well. Now let's jump over and talk a little bit about the actual launch dates for when we can expect the NFTs to go live on mainnet. So this was just released on March 27th, about 3 days ago, stating we've deployed all services, testing front end on the Ethereum mainnet, ensuring safe and seamless experiences for both brand new additions to the Paribus protocol, where it states that NFTs as collateral will be coming very soon. Now, just looking at the image there, we've got CryptoPunks potentially being supported when this goes live. Now, if you're wondering when this goes live, I've got the answer for you here. So states here, Paribus will open deposits for lending and borrowing using your NFTs as collateral for their industry first non-peer-to-peer NFT protocol. Now, this will be starting with support for Moonbirds and Doodles as collateral, and this will be taking place on April 2nd. So you've got the news there. Again, they haven't mentioned CryptoPunks per se, but I know there's a lot of huge NFT collectors that hold CryptoPunks, which I think provide a ton of liquidity, a ton of eyeballs, in a new use case for CryptoPunk holders as well. Now, I want to quickly touch on their recent audit, which was completed for the NFTs, or the NFT feature done by Zokyo. So this was released on March 29th. Again, make sure to follow Paribus on Twitter if you want to stay up to date with the latest information. So it reads here, Paribus has been thoroughly vetted by Zokyo, receiving a security score of 92%. They leave a link to the actual review down there. It's a PDF. And I want to just quickly touch on the most important piece here, which is confirming that the audit has passed with a very solid score of 92. They also break down the findings, highlighting number 1, how they came to the conclusion, but then number 2, outlining how risky the audit was, where we can see that the smart contracts have a low risk of being exploited in terms of security. So again, really just kind of bringing the point home here that the final score is set at 92 and that the contract status is currently set at low risk. Now, if you do want to find out more about each and every single piece that was audited, they do have an executive summary breaking everything down. So as we can see here, in terms of risks, they had 1 medium risk issue, which was acknowledged, 2 low, and 1 informational. And if I scroll back up here, we had no high and no critical. So again, very reassuring to see from the Paribus team. In closing, I just wrapped up by talking about this earlier. They did have 2 proposals surrounding the markets for USDT and wrapped BTC, which have both concluded, both have actually passed. So jump over to the platform and take a look here at what these are actually proposing. As you can see here, we've got the current USDT parameters, followed by what they would like to provide as a part of the DAO vote, which is, again, just completed and it has passed. So these brand new parameters will be taking effect, I believe, in just a couple of days, if not weeks. I believe that'll take us here through the updates when it comes to the Paribus protocol, touching on governance, which has now gone live, interoperability between ETH and Arbitrum, as well as the adoption of a layer 1 and potentially base, as well as the official NFT support of the protocol coming out on April 2nd. Last but not least, we're expecting RWAs and LP collateral to come up next. If you found today's video to be helpful, I would appreciate you if you could smash that thumbs up. If it's your first time stopping by and you want more content like this breaking down Paribus, consider subscribing. And last but not least, if you have any questions for me surrounding anything I've touched on, then make sure to leave a comment down below. That said, and as always, I'll see you guys in the next video.